Hello my friends, welcome or welcome back to my channel. It's Mama Ming here. In today's video, I want to talk about skincare during pregnancy. At the time of filming this video, I'm 5 weeks and half pregnant, and this is actually my 4th pregnancy. I had a first pregnancy that ended in miscarriage. My second pregnancy is my son, and I did have a chemical pregnancy before this one that ended in miscarriage at 4 weeks, and right now I'm pregnant again. So hopefully this baby will go well. This pregnancy will go well, this baby will be healthy. So in today's video, I want to talk about the skincare ingredients that you can use or to avoid during pregnancy, because there are a lot of questions that my friends have around this topic, and I personally am a skincare makeup junkie. I love to use skincare and I love to use makeup because it just makes me feel more beautiful during pregnancy, considering all of the other symptoms that make me feel really bad. In today's video, I want to talk about what is considered safe and what is considered not safe or conclusive that you may want to avoid during pregnancy. Also, before we start, I just want to say that this is not medical advice. This is what I personally would avoid or choose to use. Everyone has different comfortable level, and talk to your doctor if you have any concerns. All right, so the first ingredient that I immediately tossed or give it to my friends is retinols, retinases. I did not use tretinoin, but all of these are essentially vitamin A derivatives. So look at your skincare. If your skincare says this item is formulated with vitamin A, check with the ingredients or the claim of your skincare product. Even if it doesn't say that this is a retinol product, if the bottle says this is formulated with vitamin A, B, C, E, then give it to someone else or toss it, depending on the condition, obviously. So vitamin A is something that we want to avoid during pregnancy. So high dose of vitamin A consumption orally is linked to birth defects. And by that, it's basically like, I think there's a vitamin A oral pill that you use to treat acne. I have a little bit pregnancy brain. Anyways, that one you have to take a pregnancy test, make sure you're not pregnant, you don't plan to be pregnant, and then the doctor will prescribe it. It's something that you take to treat your acne. Vitamin A consumption orally is linked to birth defects. But how about topically? So the research is inconclusive in terms of how much of retinols, retinases, tretinoins, or whatever, like different gels, how much vitamin A that's absorbed from the skin will affect the fetus. So because the research is inconclusive in terms of the topical form of retinol, retinate, like vitamin A derivatives, the effect of that, how much it's absorbed into your body, into the fetus, affects the fetus. And it's not a study that they can actually do. It's not like they can give you a certain amount to see how much birth defects. It's unethical to do studies like this. That is why we don't know how much of the vitamin A derivative products that you put topically will affect the baby. That's why the research, generally the doctor recommend you not to use any vitamin A derivatives during pregnancy, because it's known that the oral form is linked to birth defect. So that is why if you were using retinols before you know that you're pregnant, and then you're like, oh my gosh, I missed my period. Oh my God, I have a positive pregnancy test. I'll probably be pregnant already for 4 weeks, but I use my retinols. What do I do? Do I panic? No, because the topical form of vitamin A is, there's minimal amount absorbed into your body, and you're not slitter the vitamin A products all over your lotion. But once you know you're pregnant, get rid of the vitamin A derivatives. Again, any vitamin A derivatives, including the active form like retin-A, tretinoin, including the retinol that you can buy over the counter, is a no-no. Even certain skincare products are really tricky. They don't say they have vitamin A, they don't say they have retinol, but it says like it's formulated with vitamin A, niacin, and vitamin C. If you see that, just be on the safe side, toss it, or if it's brand new, if it's, clean, sanitary, then you can give it to some friends around you. So why do skincare products formulate with vitamin A derivatives such as retinols, retinases, tretinoins? What are the general use of them? So vitamin A derivatives are generally used for anti-aging purposes. So if you're pregnant, what's considered safe is the alternative ingredients, what's called the bakuchiol. Really can't say it correctly. The bakuchiol lotion. I personally use it from the INKEY list. I'll link some down below, but capuchu is an ingredient that's considered safe during pregnancy, and it also has a gentle anti-aging effect. I personally used it during pregnancy when I was with my son. It's not as effective as vitamin A, but it still makes me feel good. It's pretty nourishing, and it helps me to feel like, hey, I'm doing something for anti-aging purposes. But yeah, bakucho is an alternative that you can use during pregnancy because vitamin A is not. All right, so then second thing to avoid is salicylic acid. So salicylic acid is another interesting product because it's basically aspirin. So a very small dose of aspirin is generally safe during pregnancy if it's prescribed by the doctor. Small dose of baby aspirin has been prescribed to pregnant women due to certain pregnancy conditions. But the general rule of thumb is to avoid aspirin unless you're told by the doctor to take it. Like there are certain conditions during pregnancy that you can take baby aspirin and the doctor will tell you how much is safe and when to take it. So because salicylic acid is basically aspirin, we want to kind of avoid it because it's not considered safe during pregnancy. So do not use salicylic acid ingredients all over your body for sure. But let's say if you have really bad acne and you feel really bad, it's affecting your mental health, using salicylic acid in the wash form less than 2% is generally considered safe. So let's say you're like me who always have oily skin during pregnancy and you just start to feel like your mental health are going down because of a lot of things and you just want to feel beautiful, using salicylic acid under 2%, especially in the wash form and not regularly, occasionally, is considered safe. So when I was pregnant with my son, I did use salicylic acid from time to time during the weekend because I just really need to do some damage control with my acne. You know, it's okay. It was okay. The alternative form that is considered pregnancy safe is glycolic acid. Glycolic acid is generally considered safe. It's also a chemical exfoliant. It will help you to do some oil control. It will help you treat acne. It's not as intense as salicylic acid because salicylic acid is BHA product, but glycolic acid is considered AHA product. It is a little bit gentler than salicylic acid. Some people think that it's not as effective for them compared to salicylic acid, but I've been using glycolic acid containing facial wash and treatments for my skin just because of the acne in the first trimester. So that is the alternative that you can use. The next ingredients that it's probably better to avoid is benzoyl peroxide. So benzoyl peroxide is shown to have a low risk of affecting the fetus during pregnancy because we don't know how much of a risk that you're using. It's basically acne treatment. It's usually used for spot treatment. It's great for anti-inflammatory purposes. So if you have a pimple, you popped it, it becomes so red and there are pus coming out. And if you put some benzoyl peroxide on top of the spot in a few days, it will dry it out. It's no longer red. It's no longer inflamed. It's helpful. So anti-inflammatory ingredients are not considered safe during pregnancy. So that includes a lot of the headache pills, ibuprofen, right? Those are not considered safe. Ibuprofen is not considered safe during pregnancy. So benzoyl peroxide is also an anti-inflammatory ingredient that you use on the topical form for your inflamed acne, pimples. So because there is a link between anti-inflammatory drug when you take the oral form to the fact of fetal development, it's not considered safe. Even though you're using it on the topical form, we don't know how much is absorbed into your body. So benzoyl peroxide is not considered safe. So the alternative is glycolic acid. It's not as helpful. I know acne is one of my biggest pregnancy symptoms in my first trimester, but it's getting a little bit better, but it's just every day it pops out a little bit because my skin gets a little bit oily in the first trimester. That's what they consider the pregnancy glow. What can I do, right? But remember, it's just temporary. The next ingredient that you have to avoid, because research has been pretty conclusive, is exposure to phthalates. And phthalates is spelled as Phthalate. I can never spell this, but I was like trying to text my friends and talk to people about the effect of phthalates on the development of babies, fetus. The initial effect of phthalates was found in a rat study that the rats that are exposed to this particular chemical phthalates in the first trimester of mouse pregnancy, male rats descendants. So what happens is that if you're pregnant with a boy and you use phthalates, at least in your first trimester, it will significantly impact on the reproductive health of your boy. This effect has not been found in female rats. So that's an initial study. So one of the very renowned researcher was talking to another researcher. They're like, if it happened to mouse, does it happen to women? So they were able to use the urine sample that they collected from the pregnant women from a different study to see how much phthalates are in their urine. They kept the sample, and they also reach out to them after they giving birth, like, hey, can I measure your boy's genitals? And they also measured the female genitals. So they found that use of phthalates in pregnancy, or the exposure to phthalates in pregnancy, is significantly linked to a shorter distance between the male descendants' genitals, between their genitals to their anus. And this effect, they tracked these boys as they're growing up. This effect actually is also correlated to the reproductive health of these boys. So when these boys become men, they got married, they're more likely to have male infertility issues. Oh my gosh, that is crazy. After I read the study, I was like freaking out because I have a boy. I knew phthalates are not good, so I was avoiding them during the skincare, but I did not look at the hair care products. I did not look at the body wash products. I did not look at every single household cleaners or whatever. I did not look into those when I was pregnant with my boy. And that actually scares me because I actually have a boy. I did not measure the distance between his genital to his anus compared to the average, just because I don't want to think that I failed him in any sort. I don't want him to have any reproductive health issues, infertility issues when he gets older. You know what is crazy is that I remember that several years ago, I was watching this dermatologist video. So this is a dermatologist. She is a board certified dermatologist doctor making a video about why are people so mad at those preservatives, the parabens, the phthalates. She was making a whole video. This was like maybe 3-4 years ago. She was making a whole video talking about like this clean beauty trend is trash and how we do need the preservatives to increase the shelf life because you don't want to use something that's, develop bacteria and cause any dermatitis, that cause any skin issues, yeast infections and stuff like that. Because she said she found no correlations, studies found no correlations between the use of phthalates and any development of skin issues on the patients. Well, here's the thing. This is something wrong with the American specialist is because, okay, so we have dermatologists who read studies in dermatology and they're like, okay, the effect of phthalates and parabens has no link to any like skin cancer, skin health issues, eczema, dermatitis, blah, 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 blah. So she was right in terms of defending the use of parabens and phthalates in products. But what about the fact of other things? But she's a dermatologist. She doesn't really care about other things. She doesn't go to conferences about reproductive health. So I was a researcher. I go to annual conferences in my field, right? But I don't go to conferences in the other field. So for example, I go to conferences in terms of students' literacy development, language development. It's always about reading math. But I don't go to the conferences that discuss much about the ADHD students with special needs just because that was not my field, because my field was in literacy and language development. So see what the mismatch is like we are so specialized in one thing, in one area of research, that we're giving like recommendations just based on the research that we read in our field, but I have no idea like how this particular, like certain particular teaching method could affect like students with special needs, because I didn't go to those conferences because I'm so specializing on this one particular thing. So I felt like because of that video from a dermatologist that I trusted, I did not really care too much about the use of parabens and phthalates for a while until I was pregnant. I was like, oh, just to be safe. Everyone was like, you know, talking about it. So, but now that I read the study in reproductive health, phthalates, they disrupt your hormones. They disrupt the hormones of the development of the fetus, especially with your male offsprings. So if you can, try to avoid any products with phthalates. Now I go buy shampoo. I want to make sure it's free of phthalates. I go to buy body wash. I want to make sure it's free of phthalates. It's usually on a bottle because now everyone's like clean beauty, right? It's free of parabens, phthalates, this and fragrance or whatever. Buy those. Free of phthalates. Very important. All right, so the next ingredient to avoid is hydroquinone. So hydroquinone is something that a lot of the doctors recommend not to use, recommend against during pregnancy because the effect of hydroquinone on pregnancy is unknown, and theoretically it could affect the development of fetus, just like, you know, benzoyl peroxide. We don't know how much it affects it. So just to be on the safe side, you don't need to always use hydroquinone to lighten your skin. So avoid it if you can. All right, so the next ingredient is formaldehyde. Exposed to formaldehyde is linked to miscarriage. It's also linked to premature birth, congenital issues. It's already been studied. So this particular ingredient is commonly used in hair care products and nail polish. So here's the thing is, you can do nails when you're pregnant, but just not every day. So there were stories about women who work at the nail salon. They have a lot of miscarriages, babies with birth defects, congenital issues. And what I try to do is in the first trimester, I try to be as careful as possible. But if you just do your nails once a month, it's probably okay. So the general recommendations is that if you do your nails, go to a nail salon that is well ventilated. You don't smell the chemicals, you don't inhale the chemicals. And also I went to a nail salon that doesn't do any acrylics, which helps. So if you just have a little bit of exposure for like an hour for a month, it's probably okay. And, you know, try to avoid it in the first trimester if you can. It's different if you work in a nail salon versus if you just do your nails once a month, or if you have a wedding, you want to do it. So doing nails is generally considered safe if you're the receiver of the nails and you go to a well-ventilated place. So let's say if you really want to do your nails, I like to go to the patio and paint my nails, air dry there, come back, and I don't do it again for a month. So that is usually considered safe. All right, so the next ingredients or the next products to avoid is chemical sunscreens. Chemical sunscreen is generally considered safe when you're not pregnant, but there are several different types of chemical sunscreens. Avobenzol is the only one that's both UVB and UVA blocker. So of course you have to have avobenzol in your sunscreen to make sure it's broad spectrum. But at the same time, like there were research studies that the chemical sunscreens could get into your body slowly over exposure, and the effect of these chemicals on your health is pretty inconclusive. However, these chemicals could potentially affect the development of your fetus, the development of the baby's neurological development during pregnancy, especially in the first trimester. So if you are pregnant, try to ditch your chemical sunscreens, only use mineral sunscreens, and that means zinc peroxide, titanium dioxide. Those are just minerals, the physical barrier on your skin. And this is also something interesting is that a lot of my friends who love mineral sunscreen, they know mineral sunscreen is good for them. They use mineral sunscreen on their face, but they use chemical sunscreen for their body. To be honest with you, according to a lot of dermatologists, that is actually the wrong way. So let's say if you are pregnant, let's say you really cannot do with mineral sunscreen on your face because of the white cast and the sheer, the oil, whatever, the reflectors. You could potentially use chemical sunscreen for your face, but use mineral sunscreen for your body. Why? Okay, your body is a large surface. Just think about how much skin is in your arms, legs, your chest, your neck, versus your face is just a tiny little round of things. So just think about how much chemicals that you're absorbing from your arms and legs compared to just on your face. So if you are going to the beach and you really cannot do with the white cast, try to do the chemical sunscreens only on the face and then use mineral all over your body instead of the other way, just because the chemical sunscreen, like, you know, it's among absorptions from through the skin, and you want to slather that good mineral sunscreens over your body instead of the chemical sunscreen. So overall, after I found out I'm pregnant, I gave my chemical sunscreen to my friends, and you know, I try to use mineral sunscreens. When I'm not pregnant, when I'm not breastfeeding, I use chemical sunscreens underneath my makeup just so that my makeup looks nicer, especially if you want to take pictures. But overall, if you can, try to use mineral sunscreen. That means zinc oxide. All right, so the next ingredient that is better to avoid is fragrance. Try to avoid fragrance if you can during pregnancy. It's impossible, to be honest, but try to avoid fragrance because a lot of the perfumes and fragrance, they're formulated with phthalates. So again, let's talk about what phthalates are. Phthalates are a preservative. It's usually used in perfume or any fragrance containing products to stabilize the fragrance, to preserve them for the shelf life so it doesn't smell bad. Because of that, if you do use any perfumes, fragrances, try to buy the ones without phthalates. So I personally use the brand Dossier. It's paraben-free, phthalates-free. It's great. Apparently in some name luxurious brand that's like $100 per bottle of things, it could actually contain phthalates because they need their products to last for a long time, because, you know, you just feel that luxurious feeling. So my Dossier perfume is not as long lasting compared to like Dior, compared to a lot of the name brand. But when I got the Dossier perfumes, I know on their website it says we don't use phthalates, we don't use parabens, it's completely clean. So I would rather use a perfume and it only lasts for 2 hours and it's, you know, phthalates free compared to perfume that lasts for 8 hours but full of phthalates. So that is something to consider when you use perfumes or other fragrance containing products. Next thing to avoid is any BPA products or like plastics. Try not to heat up stuff in plastic in the microwave. This is another thing that after I read the studies, I was like horrified. Just because when I was pregnant with my son, I used to ask my husband to heat up some hard-boiled eggs for me. And I'm upstairs and laying in bed, so I was like Brandon, heat up some hard-boiled eggs for me. And we bought these like individually packed hard-boiled eggs from Costco, and it says on the package, do not heat the package. But because my husband is lazy, he just cut a little, you know, cut so the air out and heat up the plastic with the eggs in it in the microwave for like 45 seconds. I did not know that until the entire pregnancy is over. I'm like, how do you heat up the eggs? And he's like, yeah, I just cut it. I was like, oh my God, this entire pregnancy, that's how you did it? So apparently exposed to these plastic affects the brain development of the baby, and it also could affect the hormones and reproductive health, cause infertility issues if you're trying to conceive. Oh my, I'm just horrified. So here's the thing, like try to get your partner with you when it comes to like avoid these chemicals in life, because my husband does not bother to learn about these things. And I personally, if I'm kind of mad at my husband about one thing, is the fact that he doesn't care about the health. He doesn't read about this stuff. Every time I tell him, don't do this, it's bad for the health. Don't do this, it's, you know, it causes cancer. Don't do this. He's like, oh, anything causes cancer. Oh, anything is bad for health. Oh, anything, like you can't, like you can. He's always like, there are people out there like that, but that's just not me. So the next ingredient to avoid is another acne treatment. It's called tetracycline. So this one could also affects the development of your baby. So generally, when you're pregnant, you're probably going to develop acne if you're like me. But hey, most of the acne treatment products, not pregnancy safe, except for glycolic acid. So, but it's okay. It's just a stage in life. It's just a short period of in life. But a lot of the times that for things like BPA phthalates, you probably don't want to use it at all during your entire life versus retinol, retin-A. After you stop breastfeeding, you can use it again. I only had 2 months in between my breastfeeding and trying to conceive, so I used just for 2 months of anti-aging of my retin-A retinol product. So yeah, those are the ingredients to avoid during pregnancy when you're pregnant. Now let's talk about what is safe to use during pregnant, because it's just a lot of things we can't use. We can use anti-aging, we can use acne, so we can use a lot of fragrance, and then BPA plastic things are bad. So what can we use? So the first thing that you can use is vitamin C products. Like any vitamin C products are considered safe, and it's an antioxidant. It's really helpful to put it underneath your sunscreen in the morning, and also use it at night too. But during the morning, before you're exposed to the sun, it really helps you to preserve your skin. It has like great effect with antioxidant. It helps you to fight oxidation stress. So hyaluronic acid is considered safe, and also vitamin B derivatives such as like niacinamide, ceramide, those are considered safe. They're really good products. And there are a lot of products like this from the brand INKEY list and the Ordinary, and those are so affordable. And a lot of other products from CeraVe, Neutrogena are considered safe. I also love the Farmacy products. I'll link some of the products that I love down below. And there are a ton of great mineral sunscreens that are tinted. So if you have like a little more tan skin color, you don't like the white cast, you can still get a little bit more tinted sunscreen that are zinc oxide. And they'll have tinted sunscreen for different color skin now in Sephora. I know it's a little bit expensive. So you do have a darker skin, you can still use mineral sunscreen just with a little skin tint so that you don't, get a white cast. Botox is considered safe, but a lot of times people would not do Botox on you if you are pregnant, just in case for the safe factor. But generally, Botox is considered safe because it's very original. It's just for that particular area. It's just that it locks in right there. And fillers, most of the dermatologists do not recommend fillers because your body is more bloated. There's a lot of water retention. The fillers may not go well. So that could potentially go wrong. So they usually don't recommend doing fillers. Well, the internet says it's safe to go to the dentist. My dentist said that just to be safe, he does not do any treatment on me. But if I have any discomfort, call him. He will do an examination to see what's going on, but he wouldn't treat because he's afraid of the chemicals. It's unknown how much it will affect the baby. So if you look at the internet, it says, yeah, it's okay to go to the dentist, but then you go to the dentist and it's like, I will do an examination, but we cannot do x-ray, we cannot do this and this and this. So I would not do any treatment. And, he's, just let's to be safe first. But he also said that if inflammation comes in your tooth, and he will do something because you don't want the tooth to be inflamed. So talk to your dentist if you do worry about certain things, and your dentist may be develop a specific plan for you. Other ingredients that are considered safe are the baby products. So any high quality baby products that are free of fragrance, parabens, and phthalates are considered safe that you can use. So I'm just going to start just using the lotions that I use on my baby because they're free of phthalates, parabens, fragrance, and they're pretty good products. They're really moisturizing. So I personally really like Tubby Todd, and there are also other products like the body wash, the Honest. They have one that's free of phthalates, parabens, and fragrance, and color dyes. It's great. So anytime that you have these, like all free products, free of all of these things, use them. So finally, with the hair, I do not do anything to my hair, so I don't know what to do. But if you do buy any hair products, try to buy ones that are fragrance free. It's so hard. Every single hair product has fragrance. And try to buy things that are like free of phthalates at least, and free of fragrance, and free of these things that just look for the chemicals in the ingredient section. Finally, I just want to say that I've been buying skincare makeup products from the drugstore, from Sephora, from all different kinds of places. I would say I am a skincare junkie. I've used most of the products on the market, or at least tried them a little bit. I do want to say that most of the times, the better products are actually the ones that are cheaper, not those what's La Mer, not those ones. Those are ones that put a ton of fragrance. Like, you want products that are free of these things. Some of them could be potentially expensive, like Tata Harper expensive, Ren Beauty is expensive, but Ren skincare is considered clean by Sephora, which is good. I love a Ren product, but it's also not cheap. But I also use a lot of products from The Ordinary, from INKEY List, and the good thing about these products are they are only like several ingredients in the products. It's just formulated with 1 to 5 ingredients, and it's very easy to avoid those harsh chemicals that could potentially harm the development of baby or your reproductive health. So yeah, that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this video can be helpful to you if you're trying to conceive, or if you're already pregnant, congratulations. And I understand I've had 2 miscarriages before. I understand losses are so rough. So if you're trying to conceive, you implement these things in your life, because a lot of these chemicals could harm your reproductive health. So avoiding these could to potentially boost your fertility on both the male and the female parts. So yeah, so best of luck to you if you're trying to conceive or pregnant. And thank you so much for watching. Before you go, make sure you like this video and also subscribe and ring the notification bell. And I hope to see you in the next video. Bye. Adios.